Welcome to RANsquawk, Wednesday, the 22nd of July 2009 morning briefing, just coming up to 9 o'clock now here in London, and we're taking a quick recap of what's happened in terms of overnight news flow and where we stand this morning. Bit of risk-averse trade in early doors, with equities in the FTSE CAC and DAX down around 0.5%, and fixed income trading higher, with also a stronger dollar boosted by some of those safe haven trades. So just taking a look firstly in terms of the Asian session, most notably comments out of the BOJ Deputy Governor Yamaguchi, who said it was unclear whether corporate funding conditions would keep improving, but at the risk of country entering a deflationary spiral were seen as small. He also said that he had no fixed view on whether the BOJ would extend beyond December its unconventional measures, which we did see that extension put in place last week. Also, one thing coming out of China, not particularly market moving in the short term, but always captures quite a lot of the market attention when China makes comments. According to the Assistant Minister of Finance, China hopes that the US will conduct fiscal and monetary policy responsibly and will gradually reduce its budget deficit. Also hope that Washington would ensure that the dollar remained basically stable and thus help protect China's extensive investments in dollar assets. Also, the FT writing a similar piece this morning reported that Beijing will use its foreign exchange reserves, which are the largest in the world, to support and accelerate overseas expansion and acquisitions by Chinese companies. They were citing Premier Wen Jiabao's comments from yesterday. Elsewhere, just taking a look in terms of the bigger picture, we're seeing WTI crude futures at the moment. As mentioned, the dollar is trading stronger, and that is weighing on the energy complex at the moment. However, after the market yesterday did see the API crude numbers come out, which showed that API crude oil inventories had a build of just shy of 3.1 million, quite unexpected following the drawdown of 1.1 million. And the attention will be on the DOE numbers we'll see later on this afternoon. Taking a look in terms of the UK markets, the pound is under some pressure this morning. We're down over 100 pips already in cable in the FX pairs. A couple of pieces worth noting. Bank of England's Charlie Bean, he's still doing his tour in terms of going around and speaking about the quantitative easing programme by the bank. He's still in the north at the moment, commenting in the Birmingham Post, saying it's still too early to judge the effects of the Bank of England's QE policy. And he said the Bank of England will publish new growth and inflation forecasts on August 12th, which is as expected, being saying the central bank will use them to decide whether to make further purchases under the QE scheme. Elsewhere, NISA, they released their latest report. They said the British economy will return to growth in the last quarter of this year as companies start to rebuild inventories, but a strong return to growth will not be seen until 2013. Also, quite a lot of UK press as well taking a look at a further increase into the public finances in the UK, and as well as underpinning the rise in gilt futures, which are trading up over 36 at the moment this morning, with attention there as well also to the 39th Bank of England reverse auction we'll see in the 5 to 10 year basket. That'll be due usual time, results around 2:45 to 3 o'clock this afternoon. In equities, a couple of things worth noting. After the Wall Street close yesterday, did see tech stocks report. Chiefly was Apple. They traded higher in extended hours after their Q3 EPS came in at $1.35 above the expected $1.17. Revenues, they were also stronger. And in terms of their iPhone, that's also exceeding sales expectations, and demand for the 3GS has been exceedingly strong. On the flip side though, Yahoo, they did trade lower, even though their EPS did beat at the print X items at 16 cents above the street estimate of 14. One of the notable comments there was their CFO said that revenue per search declined substantially in Q2 due to lower click yields. Also, moving on the equity space to the FTSE in the UK, for the banking stocks, we're seeing Barclays down 2% in early trade. A Telegraph article citing JP Morgan analysts who spoke yesterday, and they stated that due to reformed regulatory regimes that are ongoing in the UK, that billions of pounds worth of capital will need to be raised at Barclays to the tune of 12.8 billion and RBS to the tune of 8.5 billion. RBS as well, they're down around 0.5% in early trade. There's other earnings we're looking out for. Firstly, for the UK, GlaxoSmithKline, they'll be releasing their results around midday London time. Weak sterling will, according to analysts, let the company post higher earnings in spite of heavy generic erosion for key drugs, as it waits a better second half fueled by the windfalls of that pandemic flu vaccine. You've already seen in weekend press, it looks like they potentially could add some £1.3 billion from that flu vaccine due to the swine flu that's ongoing at the moment. In terms of the headline Q2 EPS expected at 29.9 pence, and sales are expected at 6.7 billion for Glaxo in Q2. Other than that, a couple of large US companies again reporting today, most notably will be Altria, Bank of New York Mellon, Boeing, Eli Lilly, Morgan Stanley, Pepsi, Pfizer, Qualcomm, US Bancorp and Wells Fargo, majority of those coming pre-market. And looking ahead towards the rest of the schedule, so half an hour from now we'll look out for the Bank of England minutes. Most analysts aren't expecting too much here. Of course, the Bank of England did leave their QE programme unchanged in size at 125 billion ceiling for the time being. Much of the focus is going to be whether that is indeed the ceiling for the programme or whether they did discuss increasing it. Most though expecting them, or had expect them to be in a wait and see mode given the inflation August report we'll see next month. Other than that, we'll have the CBI quarterly distributed trade survey at 11 o'clock, NBA mortgage apps at 12, no major 1:30 data from the US today. We'll see the Canadian retail sales report instead for May. US data, the sole release will be the house price index at 3 o'clock, followed by the oil inventory levels at 3:30. Speaker-wise as well, Fred's Bernanke gives his semi-annual report to the Senate panel today. Again, nothing too much to expect there, given repeats of what we saw yesterday. SEC Chairman Shapiro will also testify at a same event. That concludes the morning wrap-up.